Hello.
G'day, Katie.
Oh, it's empty tanks.
Are we? I thought we were. I can't act. I can't even act. So, what are you doing here?
Did you plan ahead for that at all?
I don't know. It just came to my head. I was like,
well, this is actually my first time
welcome.
here.
Welcome to the studio.
We decided it would be better that way because normally when I go somewhere, I come in and I have a look around.
Yeah.
I've never done a video where I've actually seen a place for the first time.
Genuinely as well, because
genuinely.
often like people will go, okay, we'll come and have a look first, and then pretend you haven't come in yet. So yeah.
No,
what do you
actually
think?
haven't. We're not fake YouTubing this. And then on top of that too, I've been so busy lately that I haven't looked on YouTube for a long time. So there's going to be stuff in here I haven't seen. There's going to be a lot of stuff I haven't seen.
Good.
So I'm really excited. But what I'm thinking, I mean, it might be easiest to just start like that way.
Okay.
I mean, how many tanks do you have in here right now?
About 30. Some of them are like more holding tanks, so they're not like scape. If I get new fish, I can make sure that they're okay. I like to buy fish now and keep them for a bit. Although on video, it quite often looks like, oh, they're straight in, but I would have got them previously, even if I film getting them, but I just tie it all in so it works. So it's basically a figure eight is what it is. It's probably not the most efficient use of the space, but it was much more comfortable to be able to view and maintenance and stuff like that. Because if you're on top of another tank, it's awkward to get into, and then you just way put off doing it. But in this way, it works well. And
everything is so beautiful and perfect. I can't see a single piece of algae.
From this distance, there's always some algae, you know. But you say algae as well.
Oh, algae, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. UK and Australian way. It's algae.
It's algae.
Algae now. It's not algae. Sometimes they've tricked me into saying algae now, though. They've gotten in my head.
I do that sometimes. I'm like, what's right?
Yeah.
Or perceived right.
The Americans are getting to us. Well, oh my gosh, that tank is beautiful too. The one with the platies and the plants. Like, it's so bright.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I don't know where to start. Well,
see, this is great for me because so other than Matt, no other real sort of fish tube people or anything like that I've ever been at. So,
really? Wow.
So like seeing your reaction to stuff is quite cool.
Well, this is very special then.
I just sort of keep myself to myself, really. I'm quite comfortable with my own company. So
and then the millions of people on the internet.
and
so
that.
Either that, but not in person.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, why not? Let's start with the African cichlid tank.
Okay.
I think let's just do that. Not biased or anything, but you know, good, interesting place to start, I think. And
let me move some stuff. So I've got screens.
Oh my
This is what literally I've just finished, so that's why that's there.
Oh wow. Well, that's handy.
Yeah.
Having that on wheels.
I built this a while back, and it's like I use it constantly for like either making stuff or just wheel it wherever it goes. Plants it, like I use it all the time.
So good.
So normally at this time all of the lights are off. So I've just came in, turned them all on, and all the fish are like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But yeah, this is set this up about a week or two ago, something like that now. I mean, you know how to make these anyway, so part of rocks and some sand, isn't it?
I'm actually really interested though in, I don't know how you do it, but every time you do escape, you end up making it very artistic. It's not just a pile of rocks, you can see that, I don't know, it just visually is very appealing.
Yeah, I did put a lot more thought into it than it can probably be first perceived, just because the last setup, it only had a few areas for the fish to actually create their sort of spaces. And when I got these, but they were a lot smaller, and they've grown loads over that time. So I wanted to give them more places to go and create their own territory. So everywhere I made sure there's a gap, and there's a whole labyrinth all the way around the back as well. So yeah.
Oh, so they can get behind
they can get everywhere. They won't now because they think we're going to feed them. Right. But when I come in the mornings, they're not like this, and then they all dart out at me. This is my wife's favourite tank. It's my kids' favourite tank as well because they call it the Skittles fish.
We've got good taste.
If I was going to do one at home, this would definitely be the kind of setup for sure. I think it works really well as a home one. See, I used to shy away from it, so everything I used to do was always planted because I used the plants to clean for me essentially. But then when I realised that I don't have to have real bright lights for the fish to still look good and the tank to look good, you just don't get algae. Obviously there's the green tinge to the rocks,
which looks good though.
That. Yeah, I love that.
That looks good.
I want more of that.
Yeah.
And there's the crocodile in the middle.
The crocodile in the middle. Oh yeah, I see it.
So none of that's glued, so it was a little bit,
no way.
I just like piled it all in.
Oh
but the good thing about serious stone is it interlocks quite well. I gave it a good smack at each layer to make sure that it wasn't sort of going to fall down or anything.
And that type of stone doesn't raise the pH, does it?
It does. It can. That amount will.
That amount will.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
So this is the pH in this at the moment. My tap water's 7. This pH is probably sitting about 7.2 to 7.4. But these are captive bred, so they would have been bred in 7.
They're African cichlids and they live in the wild in Florida.
Yeah,
they're invasive there and they're fine. And
yeah.
It's definitely not high pH there. And you like keeping African cichlids?
Oh, I love them. These are my favourite.
No way, really?
This is probably...
Oh my gosh.
Actually, no, we'll get a...
You're like, I'm just saying that.
When you see the puffers, you'll see why. Lights are going down. We don't want that.
Oh no, that's the opposite way we want them to go.
We don't want that.
So I remember years ago watching you set up the Tanganyikan tank.
Yeah.
I loved that one too, but I remember you ended up not really liking it.
That's because, I'll tell you why. It's because back then it was a very limited space, yeah?
Yeah.
And I could only have a limited number of larger tanks. And now I've got a lot more of these 4-foot tanks. I can have one set up like this where I don't have to plant them. You know, because let's face it, that tank won't change now. So in terms of content, and at the end of the day, my income as a content creator, it doesn't deliver really any more than the build video. So back then it would be like, have to recycle it. But now because I've got so much more tanks, I can sit and enjoy it myself for a lot longer, you know, than just have to switch it out. So another reason why I moved to this studio is so I could do that and have tanks that are more long term. My lights go on at 8 o'clock in the morning, if anyone's wondering, until 4 o'clock at the evening. So we're like nearly 5 o'clock now. So, and some are on like smart plugs, and they were all on smart plugs, and some of them just started not working. So I just went back to old school mechanical timers. Can't fail with them. Yeah, you don't have the luxury of a button pressing, but you know, don't take long to walk around and flick them whenever I sort of need to. Sorry, so that's got to be it. Yes, that is it. Okay, we're good. There's like 4 different lights up here. Bing, there we go. We're in.
Action, how the fish can all wake up.
Yeah.
Here,
so this is my Angelfish Tank. So they're just sort of gathered there at the moment. They're getting ready for bed, I guess. But they're quite shy, to be fair. They are I've had them a long time now, but even now, if I walk past too quick, they're so jumpy. And way more than any other fish I've ever had. They do spit. I'll be sat here at my desk and they'll just spit at me, being like, they'll be like, feed us. And they're literally spitting at you. And you're
That's
like,
so cool.
When it first happened, I didn't know what was going on. I was like looking up like, oh no, we've got a leak. Because it was raining outside. So I was like, we've got a leak. And it wasn't until I realized I'd come in some mornings and there'd be stuff on here where they'd flicked it on the chair. I'm like, nothing's leaking, that is them. And then I actually caught them doing it one day.
Oh my god.
They're like, come on, feed us. So they've worked out if they do that, because I will feed them after that, because it's like either a jog of memory or it's like, oh, they're cute, give them some food.
Yeah. Wow, it's so far that they can spit.
Yeah.
Have you ever got them to spit like crickets or anything?
So I haven't used live food, but if I put any food, see even here or here, they'll knock it off straight away.
Spit it off. It's like you're doing shots. You're like, hang on guys, 1 second.
Oh, why do bloodworms smell so bad?
Oh, they creep me out.
Let's see if I can get this to stick. There's a perch, there's a type of perch there as well.
Yeah, it looks like a Betta almost.
Yeah, yes, similar sort of family, if I remember correctly.
And what's that silverfish?
So that's an algae eater, so that's a Siamese algae eater.
Oh.
And he just gets sort of any of the wispy ones. Which he's done a very good job of, actually.
Well, here comes an archerfish.
Oh, he's coming forward.
Here they come.
He's going forward. What normally happens is one comes forward, there we go, one's coming now. A couple come forward, me brave, and then the rest do.
The others follow. Here we go.
Yay!
Oh my gosh, I saw it!
He did it.
That's the first time I ever got it on film.
He or she.
Yeah.
Apparently they're very hard to sex even when they're adults, so.
Do they breed in captivity?
I'm not sure.
They're actually being pretty brave.
Yeah, they are.
There we go,
there you go, do the jump,
for it.
yeah. The clever one jumps.
Can you imagine setting up a huge sloped river tank in here?
Oh yeah.
I know you and
That'd be
Matt did
wicked.
that somewhere else, like at a store.
Yeah, it was at his old shop, yeah.
Yeah, but if you could imagine doing that here.
Like in the
how
middle.
Cool. Yeah, like in the middle, and get like all these like
360.
loaches and stuff.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
so cool.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to do a full 360 tank at some point.
A 360 tank.
Yeah, like literally in the middle, you can go all the way around it.
Like a full-blown peninsula.
But then, you know, like at lunchtime, me and my wife will sit down and have lunch, and we'll put on Person of Interest or something, so like a Netflix or something. So if I take this out, we won't have that, and it's quite nice, like having like a break, you know.
You could just build on top of the tank like a table thing, like a latch that goes down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we wouldn't see the telly. Ah, screw the telly. We can watch
screw
the
the
tank.
telly.
We can watch the tank.
Yeah, watch the tank instead.
When I first did all of this, I messed it all up so many times. You have to mess it up to get it right.
That's how you learn.
It's just part of it. As long as you're not too harsh on yourself, can be a bit. But that's the thing, whenever I did something wrong, straight away I'd be like, I'm doing it again. Time I stayed up till 4 in the morning doing Escape because me and my wife were sat down watching telly at about 11 o'clock and I went, I don't like that. And I just started escaping, like taking everything out of the aquarium. She was like, I'm going to bed. And then at 4 o'clock in the morning I was done. The water was cloudy. I went up to bed and then I come down like about 8 o'clock or something because we've got kids, so you don't have lay-ins. And I walked in and went, no, I don't like it. And then I just pulled it all out again.
I knew you were going to say that. That's what I've done too, because you get too tired.
Yeah.
And then you look at the photo of how it used to look and you're like, darn it, I liked it better before.
Have touched it.
You're like, why did I do that? I was looking over here too, so that's really cool. And I love this red one too. They're
more like experiment. So this was another Scape. And then I just chucked that in there because I took down another tank. And the pearlweed, I didn't even plant it. I think it came in on another plant and just went nuts. And I just thought, it looks all right.
Wait, that's pearlweed?
Yeah.
Oh, it looks really nice.
Yeah, so that's how it grows without CO2. It's a bit more dense with the CO2. So these are rice fish.
Oh, yes. I'm going to put some of those in my little patio pond.
So there's a koi one there, which is like mixed colours.
Oh, yeah.
It's nibbling me.
Are they expensive here? They're quite expensive in Australia.
They're not. They're not cheap. £3 or £4.
Okay, probably kind of similar once you convert it to the weak Australian dollar. It's probably like 10 Australian dollars.
But the red one was set up just because I had a ton of easy grow, they're called, and it's like, you know, the pots in the lab pots of plants. So they're like, they're their baby forms. I had a load of them and I could see they were on the turn because they only have a certain shelf life. And I was like, I need to do something. So I just put them all in there. And then I thought, well, let's keep it growing and I can take snippets of them for other tanks when I set them up. But then I just really liked it and I was like, okay, I'll keep it. But I did let the red root floaters that you can see up here get a bit too crazy. And it's blocked out a lot of the light on this half. I mean, obviously I cleared a little bit of it because I knew you were coming. So that's how that grows without enough light. And then this side had more light. You can literally see where I scooped the top out and all the top ones are growing again. So it'll recover. It will just take about a month.
Yeah, I see that.
There is a CO2 bottle here, but I haven't had that on there since like
because you don't normally do CO2, hey?
None of the tanks are running on CO2 currently. I started this way back when on it for about a month. It was growing too fast and I just stopped it. And now it's been like 5 months of without it. And obviously when we get to the 8 foot, but that was on CO2 again for a month and a half or 2 months.
Started it up on it.
Yeah, it didn't have to. I just thought, well, it's my showpiece. I want to really give the plants the best sort of, and they grew so fast that I couldn't keep up with it. So I was just like, I don't need CO2. It grows fine like
That's
without
a lot
it.
of plants.
So. But those are really, and the pearlweed tank as well, I started that on it. But everything else does not add any CO2. I don't bother at all now, to be honest, because like I just don't, It does look different when you do, don't get me wrong. And it is the best way of growing plants. But for my needs, there's something I find rewarding about not using it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it feels like you're like nailing it even more. If you can get them to look good without it, then yeah, you know
everything else is right.
Yeah. And this one's just like a little guppy one. So all the original parents died out, but these are all of their offspring. And I think they're really nice. So.
Like second generation guppies.
Yeah, it's not the nicest of scapes, but they seem to be doing well, so I didn't want to upset it, you know. They're breeding well, and I've got some great colours coming in some of these guppies, and I was just like, okay, I'm definitely just going to leave this because then I'll keep having more and
end up starting a guppy business on the side, selling some beautiful guppies and make your own breed of guppy.
I wouldn't know what it was called though, I guess.
I was going to ask you, what should you call it?
There's Dave.
Yeah, the Dave guppy.
Yeah.
I think you could call them
they look fiery.
Leopard guppy.
No, it's volcano.
Volcano? Oh yeah, I like that, volcano guppies.
It's got to be...
Yes, no, because they have the short fins, so they look speedy too.
That's true, yeah. Someone's gonna know what they're called and be like, no. Surely there isn't any new to find anymore. Mind you, genetics, there can be tons, well, probably millions of combinations.
I love this plant.
Crinums, that's an African plant. But I didn't have anywhere to put them, so I just plonked them in those. But they're already developing nice root systems. So when I do get a scape where I want to use them, ready to go. So they're already underwater growth and everything like that. So
that's great.
So yeah, underneath is all empties. That's going to be done soon at some point. I'm going to turn this section into more biotope style. So biotope, for those that don't know, is a simulation of the natural environment of a specific species, say, or an area. They're not like big wow show pieces normally. There's something about them, even though they're in their simplistic way, they're not often really planted either, because most of the time in the rivers where most of these fish are from, there's not a lot going on. It's only at the banks where you get all the plants. Not always, of course, but you know, quite often.
They can be a bit ugly too.
Yeah.
Like I tried to do a Florida biotope recently and I struggled because everything in Florida that makes it look like Florida is actually kind of invasive. So it didn't work out so well.
Or it's just completely brown and everyone that comes in, like family, are like, why is this one dirty?
Yes.
You're like, no, it's not dirty. That's actually what it looks like in where they're from.
But they don't understand tannins.
No.
Make the water brown, they think it's dirty water.
I think they're lazy. If you're lazy or something, you just left it.
They do. And then we've got saltwater tank.
Yeah, we've got the saltwater over here. So we've got a pair of snowflake clowns they are. They're quite a sort of specialist one, if you like, version of the clowns. Very expensive, actually, they were. I'm not very good at this in terms of saltwater. All I've done is well, fill it up with water. Add the salts, test the salt salinity regularly, and feed the fish basically.
Well, you get your tank, you fill it with water. You put the fish in.
Because this rock was all done, so you just literally was plop and drop and pour some sand in and it was literally done.
And then it was done, yeah, there's not much to it. And then you have to wait forever for salt water, like everything takes months.
Yeah, I think we set it up for a month actually before we actually even went and got anything for it, so just to make sure. Mainly because it stayed cloudy for a long time and I was like, I'm not filming it until it's clear, and it took ages, but it did. You can see that, so that mushroom comes out massive, but it's because the light's dying and stuff, it's doing that thing where it comes right in, and the Duncan coral next to it as well goes way bigger than that.
Oh yeah.
I did have one big massive anemone.
Anemone.
But that split into two. And then the two of them wandered around the tank, and they are tucked in at the moment actually. One of them's just below the macroalgae, which was that big when I got it, and now it's huge. I love that macroalgae more than anything, but then I wouldn't I? Because I like plants.
You would like that, yeah. It's like the closest thing in salt water you can get to plants.
Yeah. But I like it next to my desk because I can just sit there and they swim up to the edge and like say hello. My desk buddies.
Oh yeah, they are too. Yeah, it was cool. You gave salt water a go.
I wouldn't do more though, because I'm happy with that one. It would be like start being a headache. I wouldn't be able to look after the rest.
Let's go look at the showpiece.
Okay.
This to help with the reflections. And we were just saying how hot it is in here too, because the whole room is set to tropical temperature. Really like we're at the Bahamas or something.
It's because you're concentrating as well, remember, so your brain's...
all that brain power.
It's all that brain power.
Film.
You are a smart girl, you're telling me about your job, and you guys don't know about Kate's job, because she'd like to keep some things private, but she's a very, very clever girl.
Shout out to me.
Oh, this is in the way, by the way, because I literally just finished making it, and the video, I should have probably released it already, but this is more fun. Yeah, I literally just done it, so it's nice in the winter, but summertime you're like, oh.
Yeah, it's like,
because I've got a really powerful aircon unit there, so I could get it like
whoa,
cool for us very quickly, but obviously I don't heat any tank, I heat the room, and that wouldn't be
I would forget.
good.
I reckon I'd get hot and I'd be like, oh, I'm going to put the aircon on my fish that are tropical fish.
I mean, we'd be all right with it down for a bit, but
yeah, it wouldn't change that quickly, the temperature.
Oh, it would.
Oh, you reckon?
It's so powerful.
It does, it looks like a spaceship.
Oh, you can stand back there, and let me put brakes on. You can stand back there and feel it blowing on you.
Oh my gosh.
So that I'll move this to another sort of area at some point.
Okay. I love how everything in here is so convenient. You got a lot of nets, that's for sure too.
Yeah.
You'll never run out of nets.
You can never have enough nets or buckets. So around the corner I've got about 20 buckets in total.
Oh wow.
Because like, I want to put those rocks in that bucket, and then, you know, when you're sort of undoing it all.
There's nothing more annoying than being in that situation where you're like, I just need a bucket.
Yeah.
And then every bucket has like old
Something
sand or gravel
Yes.
or something in it.
And then you're like, but I can't be bothered to empty it on the floor.
Yep, I've done that. I'm like, I guess it's gonna get wasted.
Yeah, so this is my showpiece tank, and it's 4 months now, that is. And I wanted to go for a full-on massive version of what first got me in the hobby, which was the planted tanks. A lot of people are like, oh, big tank like that, you should get big fish and stuff like that. But like I said to you earlier, I don't like to force content that I'm not into doing. And if I just start putting a load of massive fish in there, I'm not going to enjoy that as much as what I've done here, which is a big community of completely different fish, lots of different tetras. And oh, look at the keyholes, look. So they're buddies now with the angel, so they all sort of swim together.
Aww.
Some cories as well, look there in the back. So there's sort of a bit of everything going on.
Are they autumn angels?
No, they're not.
Okay.
No. So an autumn would probably be that big in there, fully
They would
grown
get huge.
with the fins.
But
Yeah.
you could fit them.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. A lot of people again said about that, but I wouldn't know. Like, probably have to wait a long time.
Oh yeah.
The cost. Because you'd want a big group of them, wouldn't you? Which that doesn't bother me too much, but it's more like finding the exact fish you want. Where do you start without travelling around the country? Do you know what I mean? If I knew somewhere far away had them specifically, I'd go. I suppose it's just a phone call, to be fair, isn't it?
Yeah, you just don't want them.
just phone everyone, and then you could sort of source it all, I guess.
Well, I guess that's the thing. Like when you're passionate about something, then that doesn't feel like effort because you're just like, yeah, I want it.
Yeah.
Like, just do what I need to do. But if you're doing it for other people, it's not like that.
And if I had ultims in there, I definitely couldn't have all those other fish. They'd eat them for sure, because their mouths would be big enough, you know?
Very true. You're more into fish tanks for plants.
It's shifting a little bit, like things like with the baboona or mbuna. But yeah, so I used to be all about the plants, and I was just like, I want to grow planted tanks, and then for me, the fish accent or whatever, what you've done, you know. But nowadays, I'd actually think half and half more now. I've been doing this like 5 years now, keeping fish. So a lot's happened in a short time. So there's so much stuff that I haven't actually had before. Wait,
did you just say like fish tanks for 5 years? Or do you mean just, you've only been doing this for 5 years?
Yeah, so YouTube for 4, but fish tanks for 5.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that just puts so many people to shame.
Really?
Yeah, for like myself, like when you look at this, like the tanks that you have.
What you've got to understand is that is 5 years of obsessive doing stuff. So like my 5 years is probably like a 10 to 15 for a normal hobbyist.
Yeah, because you're sleeping like 5 hours a night, just putting like everything into it.
Not so much now, I sleep a bit more now, but for a good 2 years straight, yeah.
Yeah, well, no wonder you're moving on to fish a little bit then, because I'm guessing once you get to a certain point, you're like, all right, well, what's next? Like,
yeah, because now I know how to grow plants very well, or to a certain level, that I know that's going to do well. So now it's like, okay, what fish can I have and what environment can I create for them specifically rather than the other way around? I just realised a load of the other lights aren't even on.
Something's making a weird noise too. I wasn't sure if it was like the fish or...
I think it's the rainbows jumping every now and again.
You reckon?
They're like, why is the light on? Is this light not on? Oh, they're around here, that's why.
Ooh, another almost hardscape. These guys are so cute. Oh, this is so cool. And look, it's your turtle.
Yes, it's Timmy.
Yes, little Timmy. Timmy is actually the reason that I'm here, really. And I just came for Timmy, no. But I remember that was what made me be like, yeah, I'm gonna come visit. Because I think I commented on a video of Timmy and you were like, oh, you'll have to come and visit at some point and see Timmy.
Yeah,
so here I am.
Yeah.
I came to me, I'm here.
Yeah, so those females have definitely got eggs. Look at how rounded their bellies are.
I wasn't even looking, I was too busy looking
at Timmy. Timmy's cool. He's my wife's favourite. So she comes over and she does all her baby talk. And she's like, look how excited he gets when I come. And I'm like, yeah, I don't tell her he does it for everyone.
He loves the girls. Little Timmy.
He has been fed. Everyone's been fed today.
I reckon that you need to make the 8-foot tank a tank for Timmy.
Just Timmy. Kate wants Timmy at home. She wants me to do a tank at home for him, she does.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So I went for like a proper boggy sort of setup, you know, with the murky, with the mist.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And, you know, because there's not many plants underneath there, I don't do any maintenance to this tank, by the way. This is how it looks all the time. And that's because of that system at the back is just pulling nitrates out of the water because Timmy's poops a lot. All turtles poop a lot. Oh, that's what that noise is.
Yeah, did you hear it?
Yeah, it's suction on the filter here. It needs topping up slightly.
Anyways, we got derailed.
Yes. So this is just a random, this isn't actually a tank, it's just growing out some plants for me ready to use for other ones. This one is a failed tank actually, it's going to be a new video soon. So I'd set up this tank for chunks as a main thing, but also the electric blue acaras. Look, there's the male, like so. Basically, the male has paired up with a female, keeps going into the substrate setup, and you can see it there, it's just digging it all up, which means all those nutrients are going in the water column, which is why this tank has got algae. It's just grubby.
Looks like one of my tanks.
So all the new growth is clean because they've stopped disturbing the nutrients into the water column. But at any point they could do it again and it'll go all algified again. So I just need to not do a nutrient-rich substrate for these fish. So I'm going to redo it again and address the problems so everyone knows that that was a mistake, but here's how we can rectify it.
And then, what have we got here?
Okay, so these are the...
are these not African cichlids?
Yes,
Malawis.
They are. Yeah, Malawis. So don't ask me the names, but that is the obviously dominant male. But they all look the same at one point, and then like within like a week I came in and there was this amazing coloured one. Now I don't feed the hormone food or anything, so obviously you just get the one dominant male, I guess.
Yes, I remember when Matt was helping you set it up and you guys were getting all of the one type to put together. Yeah, it was very more typical, I guess, what like someone who's like really into African cichlids would probably tend to do that, more like natural, biotope-y.
Thing is, what I do quite like that he's the only one like that, because if there was loads of them, which would be cool, don't get me wrong, but he wouldn't have as much impact as he does now. I suppose this is much more natural of what they'd have in their own environment.
It's got its own look, I guess. It's like that other tank, you know how one of your kids calls it the Skittle tank?
Yeah.
Like you get that more, I think, if you get Mbuna or Malawis that you colour feed, then you're going to get more of a thumbnail tank, like a tank that pops, you know. Whereas this is beautiful in itself, but if you were trying to attract like kids or someone who's not familiar with the hobby, it wouldn't attract them as much.
I mean, he would, but he's amazing. And actually those white parts are quite new. That's quite recent. It wasn't so white at all like that on the top and bottom fins.
Yeah, that's gorgeous. I thought it was a redfin Kadango, but...
I almost had it in my head then.
Oh, almost,
Matt
so
will
close.
kill me, because we've said it so many times.
I thought these guys are. Is it the same as these
That's
ones?
the same as those, yeah.
Oh, maybe it is
It's
a
exactly
redfin Kadango, but it's just got really long fins. It's still juvenile. A cool catfish.
Yeah, so they're hoplo catfish. They were in with Chunks, the one opposite, and when I redid his tank, I thought they were the reason that the last tank kept getting stirred up. But now I know it's not. It's the breeding behaviour
of the Acaras. Yeah, because
so sorry guys that I blamed you. It wasn't you.
You can go back in the other tank now.
And then next to them we've got the puffers. These are Amazon puffers. So I just set this up about 3 weeks ago now. It's all growing in really nicely, no problems at all.
Oh my gosh, look at that. That's what you can do in 3 weeks.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I planted it heavy to start with.
Yeah, that's true. You just grow them all.
It wasn't. Lots of people say that. Oh, you put all that nice hardscape in, and now we can't see the hardscape. It's like I like plants.
You like the plants.
But it just makes my life easier. Like I say, I've not even done a water change since I set it up. I've tested it a few times. It's been absolutely fine. So I don't have to do anything. And a lot of these plants are slow growing, so I'm not going to have loads of maintenance either.
No.
But so far, so good.
I love what you've done with the timber too. It looks like tree trunks.
Yeah, that was the idea. So it's the puffer forest. So the idea was I was trying to create perspective, and to do that you need bigger pieces in the foreground with shadows, and then smaller as you go back, so you get that sort of bigger depth than the tank actually is. That was the idea. The competition people can do it insanely well, but a lot of the stuff I try to create, I try to do it in a way that people can go, do you know what, I can have a go at that. I reckon I can do that, and because of my skill level. The skill level is not like insane. I'd say I'm of a good level, but not competition level.
I think you are. Because I think that's all subjective though.
Yeah, true, that's true.
It depends on your process of how you do things. If
Yeah.
you're someone who you like to do something on the spot right then and there,
Yes.
versus like planning it out, you know.
Oh, planning, what's
Yeah.
that? No, I never plan. I just like, how does it feel? Like, oh, that looks good, we'll go with that. If it's 80% good enough, for me that's good enough, because to get the extra 20 would take so much time. I'm not talking about skipping on like the health and things, I'm talking design, you know.
Yeah, the things that don't matter. Nail the foundational things,
Yeah.
and then the rest is, you can embellish it on the outside.
Okay, then next to it we've got the fish wall.
A lot of nano tanks.
So these are all the shrimp tanks. These are holding tanks if I get new fish. Like they've got some nice little danios here, the dwarf danios they are. They're like adults as well. So, and there's also, weirdly enough, right, I've got some barbs here. I've never bought them and I've not had them. They came in, they started growing tiny babies, like literally tiny, and now they've grown up. And I'm like, I didn't buy these. Where on earth did they come from?
So just a little egg got in there at some point.
Yeah, when they scooped them out of the fish shop, they might have scooped out some eggs that were in the same tank with the danios maybe. And then, yeah, shrimps on the bottom, and we've got a Betta as well, gorgeous Betta.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow. I like bettas. I think they're really cool. I tried shrimp and bettas, but they sometimes just don't keep my interest, I find.
Yeah, that's cool though. That's you, isn't it? That's what you like, you know? It's like me not liking giant, massive fish.
Yeah, like big arowanas and
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly. I appreciate how cool they are, but I just wouldn't want to keep them.
I always look at shrimp, like I like looking at them, but I just don't
No,
keep
and
them, you know?
There's no point just doing it for the sake of it.
Maybe I do need glasses. Maybe that's why I don't keep them. I can't see them.
They're in there somewhere.
Yeah. I have to get too close to make
And then
them
the
out.
bottom row is all my plants. So I just had a plant order in.
Nice.
Ferns in there, then sort of stems are in there. Then we've got more ferns, and we've got all the Anubias and Bucephalandra
It's like
as
a
well.
store.
Yeah.
And so you just keep
Quite
your
privileged.
ones, what do you call it, like outside the water?
Yeah, so I do a thin layer of water so the sponge stays wet, and then keep the humidity, so I put these lids on the top. Then I've got the lights, so they can, if I don't use them for months, it doesn't matter. Most of them, if I left them a month, would like be double the size by then as well, so you get an even more bang for your buck. So yeah, I buy all my plants from Aquafleur, like, I'm considered like a dealer, but I don't sell.
A dealer?
It's just for me, you know.
Yep.
because that way I can get them whenever I want delivered, because you can't buy from them direct, you have to buy from shops, so they're a wholesaler.
Right. Oh yeah, that would be a better price then too.
Yes. Because otherwise that's like
that's a lot
several
of money.
£1,000 worth of,
yeah.
not that much, but you know. So we've got a Betta sorority going on. So I did have 60 bettas in that fish tank that I had before, but I took a load of them out, took them back and kept my favourites and the ones that I knew were getting along. And then I did it again, and then I halved those down again. So now we're left with an absolute perfect group there. There's a couple of some torn fins there, but you can see they don't have stress stripes and things like that.
I wanted to set up a Betta sorority, but then I heard someone say you could keep them for a little while if they're different coloured ones, but you would ultimately have to get females like that, like where they're more the wild colours.
Yes, maybe. All I can speak for is what I've done there, but I've had those fish now for over a year now, altogether, like in a smaller group like that, because I just found that they're the ones that don't fight each other.
Well, but then I heard, well, no, I didn't just hear. I went to a shop in Canada, in Toronto, Fanatics, African Cichlid store, and they had a really colourful Betta sorority, and I was like, it does work, maybe. So
I mean, my original one was in a 4 foot with 60 of them.
Whoa.
But it was so heavily planted, there was tons of places to go, and in the end I was like, okay, I don't need 60. I mean, it was a good idea at the time, and I was like, I don't need to have 60 in a tank. So I just started dividing them, like taking some out and taking them back to the shop, and eventually left with these guys, the girls, that do really well together. And then there's nothing in the top rows because I've just moved them all across to this section.
Ooh, beautiful. Oh my gosh, it just keeps going and going.
So this is like, the idea of this is that it's all one sort of cohesive tank, but not.
Yes, it is.
So it's like, I mean, it's grown in a bit more now, so again, you can't see the hardscape, but. So this one's more barbs, so we've got green barbs, and then we've got the cherry barbs there, and then these are rosy barbs as well, so that's like a barb tank.
So I love how they match the plants too.
Yeah, so that's what, I was trying to go from orangey reds over to green,
That's
and then this one's got pearl gouramis in, but they're hiding now because the lights were off and we're here being quite like in their face. And there's restorers as well, red tip restorers, I think they're called.
There was a beautiful tank, I think I saw it on Oliver Nott's Instagram. He set it up somewhere once. You know Oliver Nott, right? Yeah. He's amazing how he'll just like go to a place and set up a tank.
Yes.
Like and just do it so quickly.
Yeah.
And he set
You
something
do know
up.
it was a time lapse, yeah.
Oh God, I thought you said my camera's on time lapse. And I was like, what?
No, Ollie wasn't moving that fast, it was sped up.
Oh.
He's been doing it for so long now that he can, and very talented, and you know.
And I need to mentally recover from thinking that I just filmed this whole thing on a time.
Can you imagine? Oh, man, I filmed a whole video once before, and it wasn't till like, normally what I do when I film a video, I do a little bit and I go and edit and I come back and I do it like that because I enjoy that process. But one time I was like, I haven't got time, I need to do the whole filming and then go and edit it. And then I realised the mic wasn't on.
No, I've done that too.
Hang on, check our mic. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, the mic's still on. It's a shame you can't stand back further to
I know what
see.
you mean.
Yeah.
So what's, so you got 24, so mine's 14 mil, so I can get this whole thing
Oh, you can actually get the whole thing. I need your camera. Like.
Your camera setup there is really good. Very nice.
Well, and so you guys know if the footage doesn't look good, it wasn't my camera, it was probably me.
It will look good, I know it will.
It will look great. But yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's cool.
And then I think, oh my gosh, we're gonna leave my favourite one for last. Okay. Oh, wait, oh my gosh.
Yeah, so the idea of this one, this is loads of Endler babies all about in there. They're probably confused at the time, to be honest, but there's more than that one, trust me.
Yeah.
But the idea of this one was a wildscape, so it's supposed to look like a proper, like nature's gone wild, yeah. So there's so many different varieties of different plants. I did trim it back very recently, but
it's so wild that they're all hiding in the plants.
Where are they?
It's too good.
Literally filmed it earlier and there was tons of them. But they do go and hide, so they're babies, so when it's sleeping time, they won't be out in the open, they'll just find somewhere for cover.
It's probably so dark in there that they don't realise the lights are even on.
No, they're fine, because I checked them earlier. But yeah, anyway, this is my rainbow tank. So
beautiful.
They were in a really dense jungle, but it was too dense. So then I've done this more of like a classic sort of style nature aquarium, but fully low tech, so it's just a filter and a light, and it seems to be working really well. So we've got 2 Boesmanis there, got the blues. I lost a couple, I'm not, you know, sometimes that can happen, so.
Oh, that's right. I think you liked the Boesmanis, or it might have been Matt, that they were at a store in Australia. They're really big.
Yes.
And Ross has them.
Yeah, so
Huge.
you can get ones that have got more of a red back as well, apparently, and they look insane. But I like mine, don't get me wrong.
I like mine. They're pretty. I love Boesmanis. I kept rainbow fish, but they were native Australian ones, and they don't quite pop as much. No.
Not at
Colour's
all, or
not so
just?
nice. They don't have like a lot of colour, so they're mainly silver, but then they'll have like a red and a green line.
Oh, okay.
Not like
full
Boesmanis.
cut. Yeah.
Where they're like, you know, half yellow and really stand out.
Yeah. Next to it here, we've just got a. So I do quite a lot of kit stuff with Superfish, so one of my channel sponsors. They do tons of different kits with different budgets. And I wanted to show, this is about $100 for the whole lot all in one.
Oh, wow.
And I wanted to show that even with just such a small little square light that's on there, you can still have an amazing planted tank. You know, it's quite a sort of wild look to it, but the Respora seem to really, really like the environment. And you know that because they're out in the front. So they're obviously comfortable and loving it.
I'm gonna say it's like if you had a kid that wants a fish tank, some people might be like, but it won't look nice.
Yeah.
You can make it look beautiful, but I'm guessing those people will not be this deep into this video. If you're this far and you probably like fish tanks.
Yeah, you're right. The amount, I said it recently in one of my videos, the amount of people that ask, oh, what do you do for a job? And I say, I'm a YouTuber and I make fish tanks. They're like, oh, fish tanks. Oh, I used to have a fish tank, but I got rid of it because I didn't want to clean it. I'm like, I have never cleaned this tank. Never, not once. All I've done is top the water up and trim some plants. Like, I mean, you can see this stuff on the glass, but that I've never cleaned it, and it doesn't. You don't have to do anything to it.
Yeah, or they get confused. They're like, you make videos about aquariums.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
How many videos can you make?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. It's when I'm outside here cleaning out the filter or something and filming it, and all the people in the other buildings are like, "The hell is that guy?"
They're like,
doing?
is that guy okay? Like,
One come over and goes, "That's entertainment, is it?" I was like, "Well, it's not all entertainment. Some of it's educational as well."
Yeah, some of it's just hard work.
And then this one is my shell dweller tank, but I can't work out where I've, in the labyrinth behind, put this switch for the plug.
Sounds like if you had a Bluetooth light.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. No, that's not it. What have I done with that? Maybe it is in here. It's not in there, because this is where we keep all of our drinks and cutlery and plates.
Oh, lovely. Cupboard tour.
Ah, that's where that is.
Oh.
Paper towel. I needed that earlier. Yeah, I don't need to do that now, do I? So yeah, but yeah. So shell dwelling tank, load of rock work, and then you've got like peace lilies and stuff all growing up the back, keeping the water nice and clean because obviously there's no plants actually in the tank.
I see a shell dweller.
Yeah.
Yeah, it almost looks like one of those 3D rock backgrounds. That's what it looks like.
Kind of what. Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm glad you said that because that's kind of what I was going for without it being, you know, not a real one.
Nice.
And then over here, if you come. So again, this is the same as that other tank, but the bigger version. It's got 2 lights on it, this one, and then obviously a built-in filter as well. And it literally was just a little bit of gravel, a bit of wood, and just some ferns and nubius. Again, I don't have to do anything to the tank at all. It just looks after itself. Really nice lily growing in there as well. Tiger lotus, sorry.
I love tiger lotus.
Yeah. And like I leave the little bits of algae and that growing on the wood because this is predominantly a shrimp tank. These were babies when I put them in and they're starting to grow up really big now. So male swordtail, females. And the shrimp seem to be growing well. Several generations actually. And then the boost is growing good as well, so.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And so how much is it for this bigger one?
I think it's like 140, 150, but I could be making that up.
That's in pounds.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So that's, of course, for that price, you're only gonna get the thinner glass, but I don't usually use tanks with black silicone, but on this it does work really well. Yeah. Like it frames it quite nicely.
It still looks stylish.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I'm really pleased with that one actually, how it's gone. It's quite, I've had that a long time set up now actually, but it's one of those that you just, you know, if we're sat here you can just have a little look. I don't have to do anything to it again, so it's just, you just continue to enjoy it. You just sit there and look at your tank all day. Oh, I'm supposed to do work.
So I was looking at the beautiful angelfish, the koi angelfish.
These are red devils, they're called.
They're called red devils?
Yeah.
What?
Red devil angelfish. I'm sure there's like 20 different names.
Have you seen the other type of fish called a red devil? It is not like an angelfish.
It's cichlid, yeah?
Yeah, a type of cichlid.
Yes, I have, yeah. Don't they kill everything?
Yeah, I think they make parrotfish from them.
So that's why it's red devil. So when they go back under the light more, that looks more red than orange. But he's very dominant. But yeah, so the idea of this one is, before all the plants went crazy on the top.
See that.
So like this is Rotala, but how it grows out of the water.
Oh my gosh.
Those are red root floaters, but again, how they grow out of the water. You've got some mini water lettuce that's not so mini. And then you've got all the Monstera, which is all just pushed in with the roots behind into the wood. There's like a wood wall. And so they're just pulling nitrates out and that, but it works well. I was going to break this down the other day.
I'm glad you didn't.
And then I was like, well, you know, Katie's coming, so I'll wait till afterwards. And then I cleared it all up because I had so many floating plants you couldn't even see in it. So I cleared it all up, and then me and Kate were like, that looks so good. She was like, you're not breaking it down.
This is one of my favourite tanks.
There's more than 3, by the way, but they go. You can go all the way around the back wherever they want. So there's smaller ones. I did have 8, but I lost 2 or 3 of the very small ones. They were all the same size to start with, so it's obviously a genetics thing. But these ones seem to be doing very well. Yeah,
well, I think what I like about hardscapes is how there's normally 2 colours. Like, it makes the fish stand out.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's just the rocks, and this kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah.
Because the red tiger lotus, I think that's what that is, kind of blends in with the logs.
Yeah, it's not too in your face, is it?
Yeah, and the fish stand out, which I love.
Definitely, especially the cardinals as well. Like, if there was tons of green in there, it does still look good, don't get me wrong, but this is a lot more like what their actual natural environment would be. Maybe not the tiger lotus, but...
Yeah, they actually blend in quite well, really. Like, I find that the angelfish stand out a lot, but these guys kind of like, I don't know, they weirdly blend in a way.
Yeah, because it doesn't look unnatural for them to be there, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
They're behaving very nicely for us, look.
Yeah, look at the school. And yeah, that's gorgeous. You're clearly good at growing houseplants as well as tank plants.
No, I'm not.
Oh, really?
Look up there.
Oh.
If it's in water, if it's in water, I'm very good at it. If it's not, then I'm not.
Then not.
I just forget the stuff up the top. I just forget. If it's above my eye line, I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Then it's all good.
And then behind us here, we've got like the hardscape and store, basically. So this is like all I've collected over those 5 years. Whenever I go to shops that have got wood and things like that, I'll be like grabbing bits and that, just to, even if I didn't need it, it's just to add to the collection, because at some point you're going to want it. And then there's loads more down there as well.
Oh, wow.
And then outside you saw there's like a huge stockpile as well.
Yeah, like endless choice.
Because that's the thing, like, even Kate's like, you don't need any more wood. I'm like, but you don't understand, if you set up a tank, you need the perfect piece for what you need it for.
You actually need so much.
So you can't just have 5 random pieces and put them together. I'll need 50 pieces to pick out the 5 that I actually need. She's like, oh yeah, makes sense. So then, yeah, this is the one.
I was waiting to get to this, and then you were like, and my wood collection. I was like, come on.
Yeah, it's a pearlweed carpet, and this rock is so heavy. It's so dense as well.
Gosh.
It was a mission getting that in.
This is my favorite tank.
Yeah?
I love this tank.
This is so easy to do as well.
Oh my gosh.
Like, if you start growing some pearlweed in one tank, when it gets to the top, just cut it into like 4 or 5 sections, plug each one of them, and before you know it, it just wants to grow horizontally. It wants to grow vertical as well, but if you keep snipping it vertical, it'll send out more horizontal. And literally within a month, it had covered the whole lot with massive thickness. Granted, that was with CO2, but look out, it's purling, yeah? There's no CO2 running at all, and it hasn't been for months and months and months. But there's a really good balance here. So I had to fiddle with the lighting for a little bit to get the right level where it didn't cause algae on the rocks, because that wouldn't work in this tank. Sometimes algae on the rock looks good, doesn't it? But in this one, because there's so much green, I wanted them to stay without the algae. Yeah. And that was just literally finding the balancing act of enough shrimp and some ottos, and then the right amount of light that we can get really good growth for the plants, but not so much that there's algae.
Yeah.
Now, if we didn't have the cleanup crew, there probably would be some, but
I've heard shrimp are very good at getting rid of algae. Is that an Amano shrimp?
Amano shrimp are like units at getting it off.
Units. These are gorgeous, and they're swordfish.
Swordtails, yeah.
Swordtails.
Yeah. So
nice. We have them in the water in Australia.
Really?
Like invasive, yeah.
Ah, cool. Because it's hot enough temperature, isn't it? So all of these. So I only had 6 to start with. All the rest are their babies. And now mollies are also a live bearer, so they give birth to live young, the same as the swordtails. But if you notice that there's not many baby, you won't see any babies in the mollies, and that's because the swordtails are so aggressive that they just have all the young.
Wow.
Whereas the mollies don't seem to eat the babies of the swordtails.
So cool, so beautiful. I mean, you could do a tank like this and use more difficult plant, Monte Carlo or something. I think this is cool because it shows you don't need to do that.
This tank is my most laborious tank.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, because that within 2 weeks, that's grown that high. and it has to be trimmed then, because if I let it go more, the bottom dies.
Okay, maybe
so
I take that
it's like, and by the time you finish trimming all that, your hands are aching, but it looks good.
It looks awesome.
Yeah.
And what lights do you have on this?
These are called Lumini, like they're the budget, like they're an Amazon, like so they're like a Kessel rip-off technically,
right?
But they're brilliant. They do the job perfectly, and you can change it to be more bluey if you want, or but I like that. That's 6,500 Kelvin, so like sunlight, if you like.
Nice, that's gorgeous.
I suppose all light is sunlight.
Oh yeah.
Color ranges, isn't it, from morning to night? But yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, and then and then we've just got this little one here, which has got some green neons in, a real simple scape I just set up. They're very shy fish, and I wanted to do something that was kind of similar to what their natural environment might be. Again, this is the one that people will say is dirty because it's tinted, but that's how those fish live, you know. When I have a planted tank, you don't see them at all. They're just in the plants, because that's what they would do, isn't it, in the wild? They'd group together and...
Yeah, because everything would want to eat them.
Yeah.
So they hide. That's awesome.
And then again, that's the smaller version of the pendant ones, and that's probably $100.
Oh, cool.
Did you say bucks? Uh-oh.
Well...
I left out the bloodworms.
Oh no. Do you know I have a cube of bloodworm, or I think it's brine shrimp, under my fridge. Like it just got knocked under there and I forgot about it. So it just lives there now.
But that smells nice.
Yeah. I never smelt it in the end, amazingly. That was a nice long video, but I hope you enjoyed seeing all of the tanks here. And I guess from a different angle, since you haven't had anyone except for Matt come in here and...
Yeah, I've never really showed it off to anyone, like in its finished, it's not never finished, but you know.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been awesome, and I've loved seeing all the tanks, and I think it was extra cool too that I hadn't actually seen some of these tanks before too. It was nice having that experience of my first ever video that I filmed, just coming into a place as well and seeing everything with you guys. Yeah, as a viewer for the first time. Normally I go in and have a look, but this time I was like, you know what, I want to just see it all. Yeah, I'm pretty good these days at looking and holding my camera.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see when I look at the footage how good it was. But if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and comment down below what MD should name his guppy strain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, or if you know what they're actually called, let us know. But I hope you enjoyed it. And if you're enjoying my content, there's going to be plenty more to come. So make sure you subscribe if you want to see some more tours from this whole trip that I'm doing through America, Canada, and a little bit of UK. Did
you film at Joe's?
I did, yes. I just uploaded that video. I haven't looked to see how it's going.
Oh, whilst we've been doing this?
No, not at the same time. I wasn't listening, I was just uploading.
No, I mean, have you literally just uploaded it and then we did this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I see.
I was getting car sick in the back of the Uber, trying to...
I thought you just edit. I didn't know it was gone.
No, I uploaded it. Yeah. Got to be on the move when I'm on these holidays.
Do not stop.
No, I don't. But anyways, check out MD Tanks as well. You've probably already seen his channel, but I'm going to link it anyway, because then you can see how all of these amazing tanks were built as well. So go and check that out, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.